Alright children, welcome back to AP Macroeconomics with your favorite teacher, me, Mr. Fritz. Today we're going to talk about mixing policy combinations. So today we're talking about monetary and fiscal policy and using them at the same time in order to close output gaps. First, let's look at a recession. So in a recession, the big problem is that we have high unemployment. Our real GDP has fallen below our potential output and our unemployment rate is greater than the natural rate. In order to fix this, we're going to need to get people to buy more stuff. So our goal is to increase aggregate demand. We want people to buy more and get back to full employment output. For fiscal policy, we're going to lower taxes. If we have lower taxes, then consumer spending is going to increase and cause aggregate demand to go up. At the same time, we're also going to increase government spending in order to help get out of that recession. Government spending is part of aggregate demand. Remember, aggregate demand is C, I, G, and X. So lowering taxes helps consumer spending. Increasing government spending, well, the curve is made up of government spending, and so aggregate demand increases and shifts to the right. Of course, that'll put the government in a budget deficit, meaning that they're going to have to borrow money in order to pay for this deficit spending, which will raise the real interest rate. If that's all we do and the real interest rate goes up and we do nothing to address that, then we could have crowding out where businesses will stop interest-sensitive investment spending on capital goods and it'll hurt long-run growth. So at the same time, we're going to do some monetary policy. The Federal Reserve controls the money supply and the interest rate. To get out of recession, we're going to want to increase the money supply. The Fed will probably do that by buying bonds. Remember, it's buy bonds, big money. That lowers the nominal interest rate, making it cheaper to take out a loan. Businesses won't be worried about that higher real interest rate now because the lower nominal interest rate will drive down the real interest rate, and they'll get back to interest-sensitive investment spending on capital goods. At the same time, that lower nominal interest rate will also spur some spending by people, consumers. With a lower nominal interest rate, the opportunity cost of spending your own cash or keeping it in your pockets is lower. People will start spending money instead of just saving it. That will cause aggregate demand to increase and shift to the right. We can get out of that recession, of course, with a higher inflation rate, but a lower unemployment rate, and we'll get back to the natural rate of unemployment. Now we'll look at using both monetary and fiscal policy at the same time to close an inflationary gap. Remember, in an inflationary gap, inflation is too high. Prices are too high, so our goal is to get aggregate demand to fall. We need people to stop spending money. We need aggregate demand to decrease and shift back to the left and bring down those prices. So with fiscal policy, remember that's taxing and government spending. We're going to raise taxes so that consumers have less disposable income. That will cause us to purchase less goods. Aggregate demand decreases and shifts to the left. At the same time, we'll also decrease government spending. Again, aggregate demand curve is made up of CIGX, G being government spending. So if you want the curve to decrease, just decrease government spending. That's going to lead to a budget surplus. There'll be extra money that the government has, so at the very least they'll stop borrowing. They could even save that money. That drives down the real interest rate. For fiscal policy, we need to get money out of the economy. So we're going to decrease the money supply and raise the nominal interest rate. The Fed will probably be doing this by selling bonds, small money. The money supply decreases, nominal interest rate goes up, it costs more to borrow, businesses and consumers will stop interest-sensitive spending. Also, that higher nominal interest rate means that the opportunity cost of spending your own cash and keeping it in your pockets is now greater, and that's going to incentivize us to save. That'll cause aggregate demand to decrease and shift to the left, and we'll end up with a lower price level, which is exactly what we wanted. That'll drive up everybody's real wages, and we'll have a lower output level. That is the worst arrow I've ever drawn. We'll have a low output level, and that we will have a higher unemployment rate, but we'll still be at the natural rate of unemployment, so that's okay. Now let's look at what might happen if we had a fiscal and monetary policy that were working in opposite directions. If we have a fiscal policy that is expansionary and the government is lowering taxes and or increasing government spending, that'll put the government budget in a deficit, which will lead to government borrowing. Remember, the demand for loanable funds is borrowing. If the government has to deficit spend and borrow more, that demand curve will shift to the right, and we'll end up with a higher real interest rate. If at the same time the Fed is conducting contractionary monetary policy, well, they would be pulling money out of the banking system. They might sell bonds, small money, decrease that money supply curve and shift it to the left. and we'll end up with a higher nominal interest rate and a smaller money supply. This combination of policies is going to cause the interest rates to go up. And remember, if we have a higher interest rate, then businesses will stop conducting interest-sensitive investment spending on capital goods. And if we're not buying capital goods, then in the future, economic growth is either going to slow down or even go negative. Finally, what if we combine a contractionary fiscal policy with an expansionary monetary policy? Contractionary fiscal policy will lead to higher tax levels and lower government spending, which will put the government in a budget surplus. In that case, they can either stop borrowing money or actually become savers and lenders and increase the supply of loanable funds, cause that curve to shift to the right, and that's going to lead to a lower real interest rate. And at the same time, if we're conducting an expansionary monetary policy, the money supply curve is going to increase and shift to the right. If at the same time we're conducting an expansionary monetary policy, the Fed would probably buy bonds, big money. That increases the money supply, leading to a lower nominal interest rate. If the interest rates are both going down, then that's going to lead to an increase in interest-sensitive investment spending on capital goods by firms, leading to economic growth in the future. Remember, if we buy more capital goods this year, in the next few years, we should see the economy grow and increase its productive capacity. That was monetary and fiscal policy combinations. Thanks for being here. Join me next time when we talk about more stuff. Hooray! Goodbye.